Imagine you're trying to track down a cyber criminal who's been hacking into sensitive systems. You have a MAC address, the unique identifier for their device, and finally, after hours of work, you think you've got them cornered, but then they just disappear. And if you're thinking, how is that possible? Well, get ready to uncover the secrets of MAC address manipulation. MAC addresses are like digital fingerprints. They're unique to each device and they're not supposed to change. Earlier in the series we learned that a MAC address is hard-coded into the ROM of each network device. So does that mean we need to reach for the soldering iron in order to change a MAC address? Well, let's take a closer look. The real physical MAC address is permanently stored in the network card's ROM chip right here. Now, as the device starts up, the real physical MAC address is loaded into RAM and stored there. Now, RAM is like a blank canvas, but it's a blank canvas that can be very easily painted over. And this means that it's just a case of changing the MAC address stored in RAM. And this can be done with very little difficulty, either by using the operating system's built-in tools or one of the very many security tools available out there. So now when the device transmits Ethernet frames, the source MAC address is now the spoofed one. And from now on the device will also accept frames destined to that new spoofed MAC address. The important point to take away here is that the real physical MAC address stored in the ROM chip of a network interface card doesn't change. It is in fact the operating system and the network interface card driver that construct the frames for network communication, and they will use the MAC address value stored in RAM. And as we've seen, that can change. MAC address spoofing isn't the only reason a MAC address can change, making it difficult to track a network device. The next thing we're going to cover may surprise you, and for that we need to take a closer look at the network itself. In this example, PC1 needs to talk to PC2. But PC2 sits on a remote network beyond the local network, and there's also a router in between them. So PC1 sends its Ethernet frame to the default gateway, which is the router's MAC address. The router receives the frame on its interface connected to the local network. The router then unpacks the frame to examine the IP packet packaged within. And this is so it can determine where to send it based on the packet's destination IP address. The router then repackages the packet by creating a new frame, which is transmitted from its other interface, the one connected to the remote network. Then comes the important bit. The router substitutes the source MAC address with its own MAC address, and it also adds a new destination MAC address, the MAC address of PC2. The new Ethernet frame is then sent on its way. This substitution process takes place each time a frame traverses a router. A frame cannot venture beyond its own local network. And this means that even if a MAC address hasn't been spoofed, as soon as a frame traverses a router, the source MAC address will change and the trail disappears. Well, not quite. All is not lost. Remember, IP packets are repackaged each time a frame traverses a router. An IP packet source and destination IP address doesn't change in the same way as a frame. IP packets have the power to traverse routers, and that's where we can pick up the trail again. But that's a topic for another video. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.